Juliana, in a couple of minutes now. Before we get there, now let's get to Germany, where they have a company they call Rheinmetall, and it's seen one of the most spectacular stock market rallies that could be imagined. And the defense contractors business is, do we say it's because of the war going on in Ukraine right there, going strong ever since Russia started its war in Ukraine. So, of course, we know that the war industry is also thriving because of that unfortunate incident going on in Ukraine, and now Ukraine has taken the battle to Russia. But let's have Lars now come and tell us more about this company, Rheinmetall. Lars, what's going on? They seem to be profiting from an unfortunate situation.
Thanks for having me, Ini. Let's look at some numbers first. And I want to point out I'm not usually one to look at share prices to assess a company and how their business is doing, because markets are not always a reliable indicator for what's really going on. Here, however, it most certainly is. Rheinmetall shares saw a huge jump back in February of 2022. That is when Russian troops marched into Ukraine, when Putin started a war that at the time many thought could likely be resolved with some international involvement. Well, it wasn't resolved. Quite to the contrary, Russia's aggression is ongoing, and so is Ukraine's defense. And Germany and other countries are helping out with tanks, air defense systems, and other products. Much of them are made by Rheinmetall. Now, shares of Rheinmetall have been up 500% since the war started. They're up over 100% just over the past 12 months. And Rheinmetall is looking to capitalize on its growth and the billions they have incoming. One strategy is, of course, to expand. The German company says it's acquiring Lock Performance. That is a U.S. defense specialist. They're paying 950 million euros, and that's almost $1 billion.
So maybe you should tell us more why at this time we're having this conversation about this company, Rheinmetall.
Well, it's a pretty obvious match. First of all, the company makes powertrain systems as well as entire platforms for wheeled and tracked vehicles, including tanks. It has customers in the military, but also the construction and agriculture sectors. But what is probably most important, it's an American firm. It's headquartered in Michigan, and it can open new doors into the Pentagon. Rheinmetall is hoping to get more orders from the U.S. military, and it most certainly helps to have a major presence in the U.S., including manufacturing, because that is something the Pentagon is always looking for. There's even two programs the company is betting on right now: a $45 billion deal for a new generation of infantry tanks, for which Lock Performance, the takeover target, is one of two companies in the running. There's also a $16 billion deal on the table for 40,000 military trucks.
All right, Lars, thank you so much. Let's look at, other markets, participants, investors at this time. What's going on there?
A little over a week after that Black Monday, where we saw Japanese markets all but crash, we're getting some good news from Japan, proving that the economy there is generally doing pretty good. GDP growth came in stronger than expected. Consumer spending is up. Of course, last week's trouble was after the Bank of Japan had raised interest rates for the first time in ages, and no further raises are now planned. As for the rest of the world, instead of the usual batch of economic data, we're seeing more and more quarterly numbers coming out today, among many others from U.S. retail giant Walmart and from China's Alibaba. And those are likely numbers people are looking at.
All right, Lars, thank you so much for that update. We'll do it again tomorrow. So just before we head to the UK, we'd like to tell you, you might have been seeing the